Hello, goddesses. Welcome to Ep.1 of the Girl You're a Goddess podcast. This is the sacred space where divine feminine energy meets purpose and passion. I'm Hillary Burton, a licensed therapist, feminine empowerment coach, and professional dominatrix. And I am here to guide you on a transformative journey of confidence, sensuality, and magnetic power. Whether you're manifesting your dream life, reigniting passion in your relationships, or simply seeking more joy and pleasure, this podcast is your guide to becoming the goddess that you were meant to be. Welcome to episode 1. I am so excited that you all are here joining me on this journey. This is going to be such an amazing experience of feminine energy, sensual energy, confidence, self-worth, self-love, tapping into our goddess energy because we are goddesses. So the interesting thing is I have already recorded an episode for an introduction, and something in my intuition told me last night that I needed to redo it. And so this is actually recording number 2. I don't know if I'll ever get around to posting the first one, but the phrase that came up for me was origin story. So not introduction, not hi, I'm Hillary, this is who I am, this is what I do, origin story. And I know it kind of sounds like a superhero, and then I was like, well, I can't call it that because I'm not a superhero. And then I was like, fuck that. I can be whatever I want. I can be a superhero today if I want, and it is my origin story. So I feel like there are so many other like little tidbits and details to get into that really give you a good idea of how this whole journey started for me and how I know that this is my purpose and what I am doing here. So let's get into it. Intro into my life and my goddess journey and why I am so excited to help you through your journey as well. So growing up, I just had the vision of going to school, getting married, buying the house, getting the job, having the kids, just the white picket fence, cookie cutter idea of what life was supposed to look like. And so I do all those things. I meet the guy, that's in quotes if you're just listening to audio. I go to school, get the degree, start the career, buy the house, do all of these things, and am still just living a mediocre life. I'm traveling the world like I wanted to, but every trip I take is disappointing because of the people I'm around and the energy that I have and the energy I'm surrounded with. And everything is just a giant disappointment. And so fast forward a little bit to 2020, because now I have been in my career for 5 years. I've been married for 4 years and bought the house I wanted, did all these things, and it's just meaningless. Like there was no fulfillment. There was no passion in anything that I was doing. I was literally it was like Groundhog Day. Every day, all over again. I was drained, exhausted, and doing the same bullshit again every single day. So it was actually before 2020. It was December of 2019. I decided that things needed to change. And my husband and I were going very different directions in life. We wanted very different things. And I made the decision to get a divorce. And I was like, no more of this. I will not tolerate mediocrity. And this is not the vision that I have for my life. And I was just at the very tip of the iceberg realizing that there was more for me. Because what I was experiencing now couldn't be all of it. There is no way that I did all of this and pushed through all of this bullshit to live the same freaking mediocre day over and over again. And so I knew there was something more for me, and I knew I was never going to get there with the current people I had surrounded myself with and the marriage that I was in and just the entire life that I was living. I knew I wanted to start my own business, all of these things. So made the decision to get a divorce, and it was brutal. So if you are going through a divorce right now, just know that you have my greatest empathy, because that was one of the hardest, most challenging things of my life. And to know that you still love the existence of this person, just not with you, right? And having to separate that, and that entire experience was about prioritizing myself and my well-being, which is something I had literally never done before. I'm a therapist in a healthcare field. I have taken care of everyone else. I married a man with a physical disability. And so literally, like, I was a caretaker in every situation of my life. And I never prioritized myself. And so taking such a big, extreme action to prioritize myself was terrifying. To say that, no, I am ending this version of my reality right now because it is not working for me. And I know that I am worth more. I know my vision is worth more. I know there's more to my life, and to put myself first. And I mean, the negativity from other people surrounding that, right? The judgment, the guilt, the you're so selfish, how dare you do that? It's my life. Of course I'm putting myself first. That's the point. Anyways, we're going to get a lot more into self-worth, prioritizing yourself, self-love, but I want you to understand where all of this came from and some of those huge decisions that I had to make, and I've lived it. I have lived these experiences. I have lived this journey, which a lot of times I feel like we are most equipped to help the person that we used to be. Because if you right now are sitting there wondering what this life is for, wondering how you got yourself in this situation and feeling drained, exhausted, and mediocre, big changes need to be made. And it takes a hell of a lot of confidence, of self-worth, of inner knowing, of intuition, and trust to know that the universe has got your back. Like, you can do this. You are capable of literally anything. We are the only ones that set those limits for ourselves. So it's 2020, processing through my divorce. It's horrible. I'm literally sleeping on a mattress on the floor on the other side of the house and living out of the guest bathroom because it was the only place that I could go to find some peace. And through the divorce, lost my German Shepherd. And so here I am. It's April of 2020. I'm living alone for the first time in my life. I've never lived alone. I moved straight out of my family's house in with, my current fiance at the time. And it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. And so to go from having a dog and having someone in my house at all times, now I'm single. I've never lived alone. I have no animal. I feel like I am so vulnerable and so unprotected and just so raw. Everything was so raw and incredibly painful. And, I was crying myself to sleep every night. And I'm not telling you this for pity or empathy. I'm telling you this because I have been in those dark, dark nights of despair and the questioning. Did I do the right thing? Is this what was meant for me? Do I really have to go through all of this? And the answer is yes. It was a resounding yes every time. And I would be laying on my mattress on the floor, knowing that the decision I made and what I'm experiencing right now is so much more valuable to me than what I was living in. And I trusted that things were going to get better. It has to be. And so at this point, I'm like, well, I still have my career, right? And I know I want to start a business. And now that I'm divorced, that business is 100% mine. Ladies, if you're getting a divorce and you want to start a business, do not start that business until after your divorce. Make it easy. Don't make things complicated for yourself. So summer of 2020, I start my pediatric therapy business, and I'm still in the deep, deep emotional processing stage. Everything is raw. I'm still working through all of these emotions and then trying to figure out, what is this going to look like? What else do I want from my life? Because I made this huge, massive change. And so what do I want from this? And the answer from that was, I'm going to figure it out. It's going to come to me. And so I just started looking into things. And one of the things I was so fascinated with was dominatrixes. And it was always something that I was interested in, but I lived a very vanilla life in my marriage. And it was never something that was even open to talking about. And so here I am, month fresh from my divorce, and I'm just soaking in my bathtub, and I'm looking up local dominatrixes and local dungeons, because how do you even get into that? Where do you even go? And so I start looking it up and looking into it, and it seemed so out of reach for me at the time. Logistically, safety-wise, I was just... Honestly, I was so raw and vulnerable and hurt still from my divorce. There was just no way that I was going to put myself in some kind of unsafe or compromising position. And I let it go for a little bit, because I didn't even have the emotional, mental, energetic capacity to figure out what that would even look like for me. And so fast forward, I'm starting my business. I'm still working at my job, but I know I want to go full time in my therapy business. And I love what I do, therapy for kids, but it's not the most fulfilling for me. And I know this, and I know it's not something I'm going to be doing forever. I'm great at it. I have such an incredible ability for working with kids and motivating them and the healing and therapeutic process, but it's not my fulfillment. It's not my passion. And so at this time, I decided to start competing in bodybuilding, because this was always something I had wanted to do, and I could never do it in my marriage. And I was like, why not? I have all the freedom in the world. Let's see what I'm capable of. And so I started training for a bodybuilding competition. And the discipline and the capability that I gained from bodybuilding was unmatched. It was an invaluable experience. I would not trade it. I do not regret competing whatsoever, because I learned to an extreme of what I am mentally and physically capable of. Not that I want to do it again to myself, but I have now such an appreciation for how strong I am and what I am truly capable of. And that was such a gift. And to know that I have the discipline to set everything else aside. I can cut everything out that is no longer needed. And I can do what I need to do for myself, regardless of what that looks like. So bodybuilding truly was a huge confidence boost for me, and just in my self-worth, because I made a commitment to something and I followed through with it. And it was something that was so incredibly difficult and so hard to do. And I had the strength to wake up every single day and say, I'm doing this, whether I feel like it or not. And I held that commitment to myself, and I followed through. And the self-confidence, the self-trust that I gained during that was unmatched, invaluable. And now I know how capable I am of hard things, of ridiculously hard things, of embracing the suck. So this also tells you a lot about my mindset at the time, because I was in extreme masculine energy. My entire relationship with my ex-husband, I was in my masculine energy, because he was very feminine and more of a submissive man. And so I would just walk all over him, and I made all the decisions. I handled everything. And that's why I was so drained and exhausted, because I was operating 100% in my masculine energy every day. I never had a space where I could feel soft and feminine. There was no masculine to hold that for me. And so I became it. And I know that's a very common reality for many of us right now, is that we are the masculine holding space for ourselves, and it's draining. It is so draining. I do not wish that on any woman. And so in the span of 2 years, I got divorced, started a business, competed in bodybuilding, and now I'm starting another business. So after bodybuilding, I saw how much value and how much I learned from fitness, nutrition, wellness. I was already a certified personal trainer beforehand. And so I started my women's fitness nutrition coaching business. I was helping women dial down their diet. I was helping women, get in the gym. I was training women in the gym. And so we were working on fitness and nutrition, but it was also a lot of mindset coaching and just blasting through your limiting beliefs, being aware of them, working through them, and then just absolutely crushing anything that you thought you were not able to do in your life. And so I loved the discipline and the mentality of that. But the more I was doing it, I was realizing something was missing. And it's because at that time, I started going through my own spiritual and energetic journey of feminine, masculine, sensual energy. And it was at this time that I also became a dominatrix. I could not get the idea of dominatrixes out of my mind. And it was something that it was just this little seed that had been planted, and it was something that I knew I wanted to explore. And I mean, I've got the height, I've got the frame, this personality. I was like, I could be so successful as a dominatrix. And so again, here I am. I think again, I was soaking in my bathtub and I'm looking up dominatrixes and how I'm going to do this. And I found an academy and it's run by a legendary dominatrix. She's a PhD in psychology. And I was like, that's it. That's it. I wanted that psychological foundation. I wanted something that was somewhat rooted in science. I wanted something that was ethically, morally, therapeutically aligned. Because I am a therapist, I am a healthcare professional, I took an oath, and I want to make sure that everything I'm doing is ethical and consensual and founded in something therapeutic. I want it to be a healing practice, not just the whips and chains. And so I go through this academy, and the knowledge I gained was, again, invaluable. It was worth every penny because we're learning the psyche of why people are interested in what they're interested in, why people want to be submissive to a dominant. And at this time, personally, I'm going through my energetic journey of feminine, masculine energy, sensuality, and it was the perfect combination. Because not only do I consider myself a dominant in that dynamic, but also it's about the feminine. And it's about the masculine serving the feminine and the masculine worshiping the feminine. And that is what does it for me. Because, tangent, but I'm spiritual and I believe in many lifetimes, and I know I had a lifetime where I was a priestess and I was served as the conduit to the goddess, and men were literally worshiping me as the priestess. And I know I've had that experience. It sounds wild. I know, bear with me. But there was something in me that's been craving that. And I think it also stemmed from the fact that I am someone who had did everything for everyone else. And so acts of service are top notch for me. Acts of service are the most attractive thing that you can do for me. And I know it stems back from those previous lifetimes. Anyways, that's where a lot of this comes from, because we are goddesses and we deserve to be worshipped as them. And so I'm diving into this academy with all of the psychology that I'm learning behind dominant, submissive, and I'm tying in all the feminine and masculine and energetic knowledge that I have. I'm tying in the therapeutic healing aspect of what I already do into my practice as a dom. And at this point, I know that I want to do coaching with women, and I want to help them realize their worth. Because that is what changed everything for me in 2020 when I decided to get a divorce. Because I knew that my life and my worth was more than what I was currently living, more than what I was experiencing. And I deserved more. I have these huge visions, these big dreams. Why not me? Why not me? Why not you? And so learning my self-worth, building my confidence, building my trust in myself, building trust in the universe that everything is here for my highest good, everything is going to work out for me, stepping into my feminine energy, knowing that I am divine feminine. I have power through my sensual energy. I have power coursing through my body. And society will tell you the exact opposite of all of this, and that's okay. We are here charting our own course. We are here truly to awaken the divine feminine and live the dream lives that we were meant to live as the goddesses that we are. And so at this point, I'm like, okay, so I'm a pediatric therapist, I'm a dominatrix, I am a women's wellness coach who wants to start coaching women in energetics and everything I've learned as a dominatrix. But the biggest holdback here is the world doesn't know I'm a dominatrix. I have kept it a secret. I have hidden away that part of my life because society tells us that it is negative, it's taboo, it's shameful, you should be judged. There's negativity around all of it. And I am still a pediatric therapist, and I went back and forth so many days about, am I really going to do this? Am I going to tell the entire world that I am a dominatrix? And am I going to be able to hold the judgment or perceived judgment or the shame or the negativity or the shunning or the disappointment? Can I hold that? And I had to weigh the value of my entire future, the value of my purpose, the value of what my intuition is telling me what to do versus the 4 people in my life who are not going to approve of it. Do I need those people's approval? No. Do I want the life that they have? No. Do I respect the life and the relationships and what they've created? No. That's not what I want. So why would I take their advice? Why would I need their approval? Their opinions are neutral to me. It's neutral. It's irrelevant. And so I was really going to let the opinions and the judgment of those 4 people in my life, literally my family, stop me from living out my purpose and my passion and what's fulfilling for me, to stop me from helping thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of women step into their power, step into their divine feminine goddess energy. Am I going to let that stop me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And this took months of me building up the courage, opening up the space in my body to hold that, preparing myself for that, preparing myself for the potential backlash, for the potential negativity. And I also had to prepare myself to lose my therapy business because I am the sole practitioner. And so I know that what I am doing is considered taboo by some people, and I understand that there may be a disconnect, right? There might be an issue if families know that I am a dominatrix and I am also treating their child. And so I contacted a lawyer and I made sure that there was nothing legally that would be conflicting. And it's a separate part of my life. It's something that I do on my own time, in my free time. None of them are related whatsoever. And my businesses are separate. Everything is separate, and it's okay. You are allowed to be multidimensional. You are allowed to be multi-passionate. You can be at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You can go shoot guns and do MMA and kick ass while also loving a day at the spa and getting your nails done. You can be the complete opposite of feminine, masculine, dark feminine, light masculine. You can be complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And that's okay. Step outside the box. You do not belong in anyone else's ideals except your own. That's your true gift of authenticity. Being true to you and all of the parts of you and accepting them. You have to accept them first. You have to love those parts of you. I had to accept the fact that I am interested in dominatrices. I like that dark energy. I'm a Scorpio. Duh. Dark sensual energy. Like, it never even hit me. Hello, I'm a sexual being. Of course I'm interested in the dark and the taboo combined with the sexual energy. That's literally part of my essence. And I tucked it down and I shoved it away and I put it to the side and I kept it in its dark little corner for years. For years. Something that was so interesting was I was working through the idea of sharing with the world that I was a dominatrix. And I was still making content for my women's wellness coaching business. So it was still fitness and nutrition stuff. I was still making content on that. I started to talk a little bit more about feminine and masculine energy. And I met with a previous client. She's a great friend of mine now. And we were having drinks and she made a comment that my content was a little edgier and she didn't know why. And it was because I'm coming from the mindset of a dominatrix. I'm coming from the mindset of I'm a goddess. You should be on your knees worshiping me. And I wasn't open with the world about it. And so there was this disconnect between me and my messaging. And that was literally the final sign for me that this is my path and this is what I need to do. And so what last steps do I need to take to work through myself any doubt, any insecurities, any of that about being out in the world with this? And so that's what I did. I worked through it. And I think it was 2 days later, I made my first post about there's something that you don't know about me. I am a professional dominatrix. And I use everything I have learned as a dominatrix to help women step into their power, set their boundaries, know their worth, build their confidence, embody the essence of a goddess. If you are living your purpose and your fulfillment right now, then you know what this feels like. But being able to be so authentic and open is the most freeing feeling in the world. My heart, my mind, my body has never been so free. Everyone knows these parts about me. I love these parts about me. I love that I can accept all of them. And they have all came into this like a beautiful combination of power, energetics, business. If you would have told me 5 years ago that I now have 3 businesses, I am a dominatrix, I am helping women step into their goddess energy, I would have not have believed you. I'm out here doing judo and jujitsu. I'm out here shooting guns. I have 2 German shepherds. I love to go off-roading. I love to be in my feminine. I love masculine men. I love being submissive to masculine men when they open and hold that safe provider space for me. I would have never known that this is the woman I would be in 5 years. And so when I say that, I don't know if 5 years sounds like a short period of time or a long period of time for you, but every single year was a lifetime of transformation. I say this all the time that I literally live a lifetime in every year because I go through so much growth, so much transformation, make so many big changes in each year, more than most people do in their lifetimes. And so this is also a huge reminder that you are meant to evolve. You are meant to change. Change is positive. And change is the one thing that you can always count on. There is one thing that is consistent in this world, and it is that everything will change. Things will always change. And the more you can ease into that, the more you can flow with it, the more you can be excited about it, the easier your life's going to get, the more abundant your life is going to get. And When you trust in the universe, the creator, for that, the resources, the opportunities, the abundance, everything that's coming in is going to be just more incredible than your wild imagination. Like it's going to be things that you couldn't even imagine that the universe has brought to you, because our limited mind is here, right? And the universe's possibilities are infinite. And so you're going to get even better things than you could have thought. Like, I could have never predicted what my life would look like right now. And I love that. I love the beauty of it. I love that I have made so many changes and so much transformation, and I am truly living in my fulfillment and my purpose and passion now. And who knows? That could change in 10, 20 years. That could be something vastly different. But right now, everything is telling me that I am on the right track. Things are easy. Things are flowing. I feel the abundance. I feel the love. I am riding with my intuition. I am following it. I'm not pushing. I'm not forcing things. For an entire decade of my adult life, I was pushing and forcing things into action, and it was so draining. And now to sit and to let things be and to know that I am worthy because I exist, it's night and day. So that is my origin story. That is why I am here to tell you that you are worthy because you exist. You have divine feminine energy running through your body. You have sensual power. You are truly a goddess who deserves to be worshipped and who deserves to be living your dream reality. And it is possible for you. Because if it's possible for me, it's most definitely possible for you. It might take some big changes. It might take sitting down and evaluating what's no longer working for you. And those are insanely hard decisions, to say that this relationship doesn't work for me anymore. This environment doesn't work for me anymore. This career doesn't work for me anymore. Those are massive, massive changes. But when you have the strength and the knowing that I can do this, everything is going to work out for me. And when I'm following my intuition, I'm in my highest good. When you know that and you can follow it, everything in your life changes. And you start living your passion, your purpose, your fulfillment. You start attracting the right relationships for you. You start putting yourself in the right environment. All of these things start coming to you. You don't have to push and force and go out and seek and chase. It all comes to you. So, thank you so much for joining me on episode 1 of the Girl, You're a Goddess podcast. This was my origin story. And you have one too. And maybe it hasn't started yet, and that's okay. I hope this podcast can be a catalyst to you stepping into your feminine energy, making changes that need to be made, living the life that you want to live. So that is why we are here, so that we can step into our purpose and our passion and our fulfillment, and so that you are truly worshipped as the goddess that you are. Can't wait to see you next week.